To this special edition of Hannity. I'm Kellyanne Conway, in for Sean. And tonight, the death toll continues to rise in Central Texas, where search and rescue operations are still ongoing. We'll bring you the latest on these devastating flash floods with Texas Senator Ted Cruz and Texas native Dennis Quaid. But first, big news from Washington, D.C. Deep state duo Jim Comey and John Brennan might soon face serious legal trouble. Sources are telling Fox News that both men are now under a criminal investigation over their illicit actions during the Russia hoax. Of course, the allegations against both former bureaucrats are well documented. Let's go through the list. Comey is accused of deceiving government officials, lying under oath, lying to a FISA court judge, and abusing the FISA process, also leaking sensitive government material to the press. All in an effort to get Donald Trump and perpetuate a ridiculous hoax. Brennan, meanwhile, is accused of lying to Congress, lying to government officials, spying on Senate staffers, abusing his security clearance, and many other serious allegations. Brennan's actions are so egregious that the Federalist published this op-ed in 2023, quote, "In a healthy democracy, John Brennan would already be in prison." So tonight, what are the chances that either Brennan or Comey actually get charged with a crime? Here now with reaction to the breaking news, former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker and Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. Friends, let's review for the audience something they already know. These two figures, Jim Comey, former FBI director, and John Brennan, former CIA director, they had very prominent positions in the federal government. The security clearance has the access to sensitive information that goes along with it. Nicole, as a former FBI agent, tell us how the rank and file view people like Comey and Brennan and the shenanigans, the outright lies and crimes that they have committed.
Well, first of all, I just have to say I am a native Texan, and my heart goes out to all that have been negatively impacted by this awful tragedy. And God bless all of the first responders. We are so grateful, and I just have to say God bless Texas. To your question, the rank and file at the FBI, those that are really doing the real work at the FBI, they're absolutely disgusted by actions of Jim Comey. What he stands for is exactly opposite of what you are trained to do when you are an FBI special agent and an employee of the FBI. And the number one response that I've received from those across the board, current and former FBI employees, is, quote, "It's about time." This is something that FBI employees have wanted to see for a very long time because we believe in accountability. We are all about enforcing laws ourselves. And when you have leadership at the top who does not even obey the rules, obey the procedures and policies and the laws, that is unacceptable. And I do believe that Jim Comey is the individual who single-handedly started the destruction of the FBI, and the FBI has never recovered from his failures.
Yeah, Greg, I mean, you and I were on TV constantly about this ridiculous Russian hoax. I was in the Trump White House. The amount of time that the networks and the two other cable stations spent on something that never existed, that was fomented by Comey and pushed by Brennan, to say nothing of that ridiculous Trump Tower meeting on January 6th, 2017, where Brennan was there too, but Comey ended up saying to President-elect Trump, hey, we don't know what this is all about, but there's some kind of golden shower, Russian asset thing. Don't worry about it. And of course, we needed to worry about it. So why don't you bring us down a trip down memory lane and how we got to this point? Do you think these guys will be charged with crimes?
I think there's a very good chance. You know, I wrote 2 books about it. And in the second book, I'm gratified to see that this new information from the CIA corroborates just about everything I wrote about John Brennan, that he knew that the dossier was garbage, and yet he insisted on inserting it in the esteemed intelligence community assessment to give the dossier credibility so that he could use it as a cudgel to bludgeon Donald Trump politically. What I think is really new is that these career CIA officials have come forward and they've blown the whistle on John Brennan. Not just that he knew the dossier was junk, but literally the deputy director in writing told him, you can't use this for the ICA. It'll ruin the credibility of the intelligence community. Brennan didn't care. And, you know, these CIA officials describe how he strong-armed everybody into putting the dossier into that ICA. He sidelined people who said no. He silenced them. He excluded 13 intel agencies from contributing to it because they also objected. So I think what they're looking at here with respect to Brennan is perjury, false statements, maybe conspiracy along with Comey.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, Greg, let me just stay with you for a moment. Legally speaking, where do we go from now? So if they're under investigation, obviously they would need to be charged. Somebody will go in and maybe do an interview with them. Possible indictments? I mean, is it enough? The list I read, who can argue at this? Lying to Congress, abusing their security clearance, abusing the FISA process?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go to a grand jury in Washington, D.C. and get an indictment and then, of course, bring the prosecution. In D.C., bringing a case against a Democrat and a liberal is almost a fool's errand. As for James Comey, I think they're looking at defrauding the government, a conspiracy, and deprivation of rights under color of law. That is, knowingly using fabricated false evidence to support a case against Donald Trump. The statute of limitations, which is 5 years or 7 years, is actually suspended or tolled whenever incriminating evidence is deliberately withheld or fraudulently concealed. So I don't think the statute of limitations is a problem here because we're just now learning of some of the withheld, concealed evidence.
Yes, and Nicole, going back to you as an FBI agent, under Kash Patel, the FBI seems to be going in an entirely different direction. What do you hear from some of your former colleagues about the different direction we have now?
Well, first of all, going back to Jim Comey real fast, let's just remind the American viewer that he was very famous for always saying, no one is above the law. And you know what, Jim Comey? You're right. No one is above the law, including yourself. And I can tell you that there is a spike in morale at the FBI. Kellyanne, I walked away from the agency because it turned into something I no longer even recognized. And I can tell you that I started first noticing the politicization of the FBI with Jim Comey on July 5th of 2016, about 9 years ago, actually, where he came out and said no reasonable prosecutor would charge Hillary Clinton. And under the new leadership of FBI Director Kash Patel, that's not how the FBI works anymore. Kash Patel looks at the evidence and they say, you know what? Is there something here or is there not? It's not based on politics. It's based on facts. It is based on evidence. But I can tell you, FBI agents, what they want to do is get back to enforcing the law. They want to be out of politics. But that most of all, they want accountability and consequences for those that are breaking the law. And that is what FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino are all about, and Attorney General Pam Bondi. And so I can tell you that the morale has increased greatly. They've got a lot on their plate. They have walked into an absolute disaster zone, but there are good, amazing FBI special agents and staff at the FBI who have always done incredible work, and they deserve accolades. They have quietly worked behind the scenes while all of this nonsense was going on, and they have worked hard and they have worked diligently. And what they want more than anything is those that have politicized the agency to be held accountable.
No, it's so true, because Comey in his book and Brennan on TV constantly, they lied in both places, but lying under oath to Congress and abusing the FISA process and your security clearance, these are potentially criminal indictments that we can see coming. We're going to keep a close eye on this, and I know we'll have you back. Nicole Parker, Greg Jarrett, thank you so much. Now to another scandal still haunting Democrats. Today, Biden's White House physician, family friend, and business partner, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, just pleaded the Fifth on Capitol Hill. O'Connor was subpoenaed in the ongoing House probe into Biden's mental and physical decline and the cover-up that ensued. This is the same physician that gave Biden glowing health reports in writing throughout his presidency. Keep in mind, pleading the Fifth is not an admission of guilt. But also keep in mind, according to a 2022 post from anti-Trump zealot, Congressman and forever Nepo baby Dan Goldman, quote, "You don't take the Fifth if you didn't do anything wrong." Here now with more, former White House physician and Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson, along with Democratic strategist Doug Schoen. Okay, you're a White House physician under President Trump. We worked together, Congressman Jackson. Let me ask you a couple questions. See if you can answer them, or you're going to take the fifth on live TV. Were you ever asked to lie for President Trump about his health?
I was not, Kellyanne.
There you go. And did anything ever give you pause in terms of his ability to do the job?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, these are two core questions that Dr. O'Connor was asked today under subpoena right behind my shoulder in the U.S. Congress, and he took the fifth. Dr. Jackson, Congressman Jackson, tell us about the role of the White House physician and how you think Dr. O'Connor either served his client well, his patient well, or frankly has lied to the country.
Well, I think he's lied to the country. I don't think he served the president well. I think that he was part of this cover-up, and I think today just is evidence that this cover-up really does exist. It did happen. There was an active effort to cover up the president's cognitive abilities and his cognitive decline, and that couldn't have happened without Kevin O'Connor. There are key people that just can't happen without. The physician to the president is with the president almost every day. And obviously, he puts out the annual physical exam and comments on these things. And without his being complicit in this cover-up, along with Joe Biden and Anthony Burnell and all these other folks that were working in and around the president on a regular basis, this could have never happened. And so it was a huge disservice to this country. The physician of the president has several roles. One is to be the physician for the president, but also has a responsibility to the country. And I think he completely abandoned his responsibility to the country. He had a responsibility at some point to go through the proper channels and to address this issue, and he didn't. And now he's being given an opportunity to come clean about it and tell us what he did, and he's not doing it. And that just tells me that he's covering something up still, and that he's worried about his own guilt in all of this. And like you said, I just don't think that he would plead the fifth unless he's hiding something that could come back to personally haunt him.
And Dr. Jackson, just quickly saying with that, do you believe, as former White House physician for President Trump, that there are questions you can answer that would not violate the doctor-patient privilege?
Well, I absolutely do. And they had a whole bunch of questions. I helped the committee come up with the questions. We had hours and hours of questions, and many of them were of that category where it had nothing to do with patient provider privilege. However, I will say that both the AMA and HIPAA have admitted or have basically said that you can be legally compelled in the right situation to violate the patient doctor privilege and share information on conversations that you had with your patient. Once he was subpoenaed, that legal process was in place. So he no longer could fall back on the patient provider privilege, and that's why he ended up pleading the fifth. And President Trump, you remember, also freed him of his presidential
executive privilege
ability to not do it because executive, exactly. So he had every opportunity today to set things straight and to be honest with the American people, and he failed to do so.
Doug Schoen, you're such a shrewd political analyst, a famed pollster. Do people care about this? And what about the Democrats' argument that this is the past? I mean, do you think that this is something the Democrats should reckon with to move forward?
You know, Kellyanne, I wanted to believe that it was the past. But the facts that have come out, as Dr. Jackson said, are so egregious about Joe Biden's competence, but also the White House physician deciding that the patient physician privilege attaches to the question of, did you lie? Were you asked to lie? I mean, this has nothing to do with patient privilege. It has to do with basic truth and decency. I tend to think that we have a big issue here of who was running the country, what did Joe Biden know, and what didn't he know? And these are fair questions that are only, in my mind, made much worse, Kellyanne, by what happened today.
And Doug, just quickly, do you think the Democrats running for president in 2028 should have to answer the question as to why they insisted Joe Biden had the acuity, ability, agility to perform the job, what they knew, what they saw, or can they sort of skate past this?
I think they should do that. I think they should all take physical and mental competence tests and release the results without any hesitation to the public for reasons that should be obvious.
Doug Schoen and Congressman and White House physician Ronny Jackson, thank you. Coming up, tragedy in Texas. The death toll continues to rise while rescue crews continue searching for nearly 200 people that are missing. Senator Ted Cruz will join us with the latest, plus reaction from Texas native Dennis Quaid.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age with my wife Shirley, who is 82. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you.
It really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order now. You'll be glad you did.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.
It's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Daddy.
That was us over 10 years ago.
Now LifeVac is responsible for saving over 4,000 lives from choking.
In the time it takes you to pick up the phone and call, another life could be saved.
The LifeVac saved my life in 1 to 2 seconds.
Protecting families has always been our mission. I'm sure you love your family like I love my daughter. Do us all a favor and get your own LifeVac now.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-LifeVac. Order now.
I never thought about getting a will until I had kids.
This close to retirement, I knew I needed a will.
Then we found Ethos.
I created my will all online.
I feel a lot better now that we have a plan in place.
Go to ethos.com to get started.
He was only 47. Aneurysm. Did he have life insurance? Do you? No. You gotta get on it. Check out SelectQuote. Trust me, the peace of mind, it's worth it.
Come on, Dad.
Life insurance is too important to put off another day. That's why SelectQuote makes getting coverage you need easy for less than $1 a day. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Force Factor Better Turmeric promotes joint health and provides inflammation support to maximize comfort and help you feel great. Why? Better Turmeric contains clinically studied hydrocurcumin for 329% better absorption. Rush to Walmart and find Better Turmeric from Force Factor.
Tomorrow.
The Democrat nominee in New York.
Oh boy, he's got no right even running. The mayoral race that's causing a commotion on Jesse Waters Primetime.
Guys, stop what you're doing and head over to Fabletics, because right now everything is 80% off. That's right, everything, including their all-new Dawn pant, the pants that feel and look better than jeans. The lightweight, do-it-all one short and jogger. The training, performance tech fundamental short, lined, unlined, and inseam options. Shirts, tees, polos, 80% off. Shorts, pants, joggers, 80% off. Gym, office, golf, 80% off. Whatever you need, Fabletics has it. Get 80% off everything right now when you sign up as a new VIP, only at Fabletics.com.
Clogged gutters can cause big problems fast. Until now. Call 833 Leaf Filter today for your free gutter inspection.
I've had terrible flooding problems on my porch. Now I understand why.
Right now, Leaf Filter is offering a free inspection on your schedule. Leaf Filter is a permanent gutter solution, so you never have to worry about costly damage from clogged gutters again.
Call us today and schedule your free inspection.
To schedule your free inspection, call 833 Leaf Filter today or visit leaffilter.com.
Ninja fast.
Speed matched with quality is your secret weapon when building your business. An easy peel delivers. Peel fast, slow, hot, or cold.
Visit ninjatransfers.com.
Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Recovery efforts continue in Central Texas after flash floods over the weekend left more than 100 dead, with over 160 people still missing. But in typical, predictable left-wing fashion, Democrats and their allies in the corrupt media mob wasted no time politicizing this latest tragedy. The left immediately blamed President Trump's budget cuts, false, and Texas Senator Cruz, who was on vacation with his family at the time of the flooding. and he quickly returned to his home state of Texas and has been there to help. Senator Cruz joins us now with more. Senator Cruz, if you'd like to have a word about that, please do. But I'm most interested in hearing an update on the floods and the recovery efforts.
Well, Kellyanne, it's great to be with you. And I will say the state of Texas, we are grieving right now. Our hearts are broken. What happened in the early hours of July 4th was truly devastating. I spent all day on Monday in the Hill Country in central Texas, and the floods, in less than an hour, the Guadalupe River rose more than 30 feet. It resulted in utter devastation. Today, the death count is at 119 people that were killed. There are over 165 people who are still missing, and there may be more than that. And where the devastation was the greatest was a girls' camp, Camp Mystic. Camp Mystic is 100 years old. It was founded in 1926. And to date, 27 girls and counselors were killed from the flooding. I will tell you, on Monday, I was at Camp Mystic. I saw the devastation, and it is the most horrible thing I've ever seen. Kellyanne, you know both our girls, Caroline and Catherine. Both our girls went to camp in the Hill Country, just a few miles away from Camp Mystic. Just 2 weeks ago, a week before this happened, my wife Heidi was there picking up our youngest daughter, Catherine, from camp. I got to say, the parents, the moms and dads in Texas who are grieving beyond that, they dropped their little girl off at camp to have an amazing time, to be canoeing and swimming and doing horseback and archery, and suddenly out of nowhere they're killed in a horrific flood. The pain is being felt all throughout Texas and all throughout the country, and every mom and dad, you're a mom, Kellyanne, this is the ultimate nightmare, and our state is hurting right now.
Senator Cruz, I can hear and see the pain in this interview, and we all share it. We are grieving with the state of Texas and for these families, and also for those who are still missing. And I know the rescue and recovery efforts continue. I don't understand the lack of compassion, the heartlessness, the lack of any kind of dignity, love, thoughts, prayers, a dollar, lend a hand, donate something, contribute, show up and help from your colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Yes, you were on vacation with your family. Good for you, because you worked tirelessly for weeks, if not months, on that big, beautiful bill. And not a single one of the same Democrats now attacking you and President Trump dared vote for that bill that would help. And so the lies have to stop, but the sheer lack of compassion and heartlessness is something I just cannot abide, acknowledge, and accept.
Well, look, there are certainly partisans who, in the face of any natural disaster, they try to politicize it, and they try to attack whether it's a hurricane, a tornado, or a flood. And so if a hurricane happens, there are people on the left that say the hurricane is Donald Trump's fault. And so very quickly, people in the press and partisan Democrats tried to blame this flood on President Trump. Those arguments were ridiculous. I will say, with some credit to my colleagues in the Senate, in the hours since this happened, I have had an enormous number of my colleagues in the Senate, both Republicans and Democrats, reach out and say, this is horrific, our hearts are breaking, and anything we can do to help Texas, we're there. You know, as the flood was happening, it happened at 3 and 4 in the morning on the 4th of July. Within hours, I was on the phone with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. I was on the phone with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. I was on the phone with Nim Kidd, the head of Texas Emergency Management. And then I called President Trump. And I called President Trump at the time he was having dinner in the White House. And I said, Mr. President, it's still early. The facts are still not entirely clear, but this is bad. It looks really, really bad. I said there could be an enormous number of fatalities as we're getting the news reported in. And I said, we need federal resources marshaled fully. And the president said, Ted, whatever Texas needs, the answer is yes. We are 100% there. And I got to tell you, look, as horrifying as this was, it was also inspirational. Within hours, we had more than a dozen helicopters in the air, Coast Guard, National Guard, Texas DPS. They performed over 850 high water rescues. When I was there on Monday, I went up with a Coast Guard helicopter. I met with a Coast Guard swimmer, Scott Ruskin, He is credited with 165 rescues. They landed him at Camp Mystic on the highest spot there, a field. There were more than 100 girls there. You had pelting rain, torrential rain. He spent 3.5 hours as they airlifted those girls off of the camp because the roads were all flooded. They put about 15 girls in each helicopter, and the girls were crying. They were terrified. Some of them, many of them were singing hymns. This is a Christian camp.
Yes.
And when I talked to Scott Ruskin, he told me he'd just gotten off the phone with a mom and dad and a little girl who called him, and they said, "You saved our daughter's life." And they said that she was scared out of her mind, and you calmed her, you held her hands, you put her on the helicopter, you held her hand, you said, "You're going to be all right." And Coast Guard swimmers, if you've ever encountered them, they're kind of a mix of Navy SEALs and California surfers. And like Scott Ruskin, he said to the press this week, he said, "I'm just a dude," which is a very Coast Guard swimmer thing to say. But these guys are incredibly fit and courageous. And I got to say, he was moved to tears by the impact of the lives he was saving. We were seeing that over and over and over again as Texans were helping Texans, and we will come through this. My message is a message of hope that we are strong, we are helping each other, we will recover. The parents are grieving, and I just want to ask, thank you, everyone, for lifting up Texas and lifting those parents up in prayer. Keep praying for them, because the burning hole in their heart, it's not going away, but they need to be loved, they need to be hugged, they need a shoulder to cry on, and they need the community, everyone, to come around and support them. And that's what's happening right now, Kellyanne.
Senator Cruz, we join you in all of that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And our prayers and thoughts are deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you. Joining us now with more reaction, Texas native Dennis Quaid, who is starring in the upcoming film Sovereign. Here's a preview.
It sounds to me like your dad doesn't like the government very much.
They demand that you beg. They're sick like that. You know, they're psychotic, psychopaths.
I mean, I don't want to have to kill anybody. But if they keep messing with me, then I'm afraid that's what it's going to come down to. And if I have to kill one, then I'm not going to be able to stop. I just know it.
They think they can just, keep squeezing blood out of a stone. But at some point, you have to let them know that you won't be pushed any further.
This is an illegal stop. Sir.
Dennis Quaid, the new movie comes out Friday. I know your thoughts are consumed with what's happening in your native Texas. And you heard Senator Cruz, President Trump is scheduled to be there on Friday. What do you think the rest of us can do now to actually help?
Well, I'm from Texas myself. In fact, I spent 2 summers as a child in the hill country of Texas at summer camp. And the hill country of Texas is a magical place. It truly is. It's especially for children. And going to camp there, it's a memory, a cherished memory that you carry with you all of your life. And my daughter was actually a few miles away from Mystic as well, further north. And thankfully their camp was okay. But the Guadalupe is something that hasn't happened. They're saying, I guess since 1900 was the last time an event like this happened, and no one saw it coming. But my heart goes out to everybody. My heart goes out to the Hunt family, friends of my wife Laura's and I's, and Janie Hunt, who was lost that weekend. And,
yes, so much
can't
loss
imagine.
and devastation. Yes, absolutely.
I can't imagine.
Well,
none of us
I know
can.
we all need to take a beat.
We've started a Kerr County. We have a Kerr County flood relief fund that we are telling people if they want to donate some money to, just take some of that money out of your wallet or your credit card or on your phone and write a check. You could do it in 5 minutes. Just go to Kerr County Flood Relief Fund, and that's at communityfoundation.net. Communityfoundation.net. Be greatly appreciated. It'll go right where it needs to go too, because it's a local.
You know, Americans, Mr. Quaid, Texans, strong, resilient, faithful people, even in the face of a tragedy like this. I don't think Scott Ruskin should call himself a dude. He seems like a hero, the former Coast Guard gentleman who's rescuing so many people. Are you hearing other acts of heroism like that? Can you lift us up a little bit, give us some hope?
Well, you know, it's those guys, those first responders, all those people, they run in when everybody else is running out, and they don't even think twice, and their hearts are as big as they come. And thank God we have people like that on this earth that teach us all, and who really value life, cherish. They're God's angels. That's who they are.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll check out Sovereign. It's in theaters it comes out on Friday. Thank you, sir. Coming up, the battle over the border continues, and so do the left's violent attacks on ICE agents. Stephen Miller will join us with more as this special edition of Hannity continues.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online and save $45. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit urgentcarekit.com/USA. Promo code USA. That's urgentcarekit.com/USA. Promo code USA.
I want to diversify our investments, but I'm not sure what to trust.
My sister thinks.
Your sister thought stuffed animals was a good investment. I don't trust her judgment.
They were cute.
Gold.
There was a gold bear.
No, real gold. Coins and bars you can actually hold.
In unstable financial times, history has shown us to trust gold and silver. And the company with the history to trust is Goldline. Goldline has been helping our clients buy and sell gold and silver since 1960. That makes us a trusted source in industry. When you buy with Goldline, you get unmatched service. Goldline's dedicated account executives make the entire process easy from door to door. We even offer free delivery.
We made the right choice going with gold.
And Goldline.
Call now and receive a free Goldline buyer's guide and learn about our weekly specials. Trust gold and silver. Trust Goldline.
Call Goldline today at 1-800-278-5077.
For muscle cramps and spasms, what's your move? The Hercules? Muscle relief. Safe, gentle, muscle relief. Safe, gentle, muscle relief.
Force works.
Try TheroWorks muscle relief.
Force works.
Try TheroWorks muscle relief.
We need to talk. Oh my God. Dave, can't ghost your own face. I've seen what you do. I mean the hand soap. That was just one time. You tried to moisturize with butter. Hey, that was premium butter. Either get your head in the game or I'm walking. Mirrors can't walk. Wait. Okay. What do you want me to do? Here. 1 bottle, 6 solutions. Now here. 1 bottle, 6 solutions. Now here. 1 bottle, 6-in-1 solution for men who don't want to use butter. Go to ParticleMen.com and use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off. ParticleMen.com, use the promo code on your screen to get 25% off. ParticleMen.com, use the... Seriously? Particle.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. Just call 800 National Construction on a custom design building. Get a 40 by 60 foot building for less than $40,000 or a 50 by 100 clear span building for under $66,000. This special price building for under $66,000. This special billing for under 60. 987-8335. 898 deal.
With Balance of Nature, it sure has helped me feel really good. With Balance of Nature, it sure has helped me feel really good. With Balance of Nature.
And I can feel the benefits from it.
I started taking Balance of Nature. It definitely has an impact in my life.
I stand behind the product. I stand behind what I say. Balance.
Hey, don't miss out. Get 40% off your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use code PRIMETIME.
Nice Oakley. Stipe, where'd you get them? Hey, Stipe, nice boots. Where'd you get those?
Go back.
Where'd you get them? Hey, Stipe, nice boots. Where'd you get those? Stipe, where'd you get them?
Use it. Exclusive deals for first responders, military, and law enforcement only at GovX.com.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime listening.
Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Anti-ICE rhetoric on the left is getting worse by the day. And now on the latest liberal talking head to compare immigration agents to Nazis. Take a look.
We are normalizing a government agency disappearing people. We are normalizing, we're talking about it like it's no big deal that they are kidnapping people and transporting them to concentration camps, both domestic and foreign.
Sadly, it's not just rhetoric under attack as well. Whether it's in San Francisco, as you see on your screen, or in Texas, where officers were ambushed on the 4th of July. According to Chris Cuomo, it's time for Democrats to stop demonizing ICE before more people get hurt. But elected Democrats aren't slowing down. They're now pushing a plan to force ICE agents to wear identifying badges. That would lead them from violent transnational gangs. Here now with more is Homeland Security Advisor and forever one of my favorite colleagues from the first term, Stephen Miller. Stephen, should not be an occupational hazard for our ICE agents to work every day to try to protect citizens by deporting violent criminals to face violence themselves. And do you see a nexus between the violent fighting words on the left from Hakeem Jeffries, from
Well, first of all, it's great to be here with you, my friend. I always enjoy this chance to talk. And I just wish it wasn't about such a somber topic, because you're right. The rhetoric from Hakeem Jeffries, the rhetoric from Democrat leadership, the record from that awful guest that you just played on CNN, this is eliminationist rhetoric. This is rhetoric that is used to justify violence, that is used to justify terrorism, that has directly led by terrorism, fired enormous assaults, a 700% increase in assaults on ICE officers, and of course, recent attempts at murder against ICE officers, including in Texas, where you had a shootout at, in this case, a Border Patrol facility that, again, is inspired by this hateful, odious, villainous rhetoric. And let's be very clear. ICE actions tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of American lives. Border Patrol and ICE are thousands of American lives. Border Patrol and ICE are thousands of American communities. They just did an operation recently in Minneapolis that swept up a dozen child sex offenders, child predators, and pedophiles. They are removing foreign terrorist
organizations from our country, like Tren de Aragua, MS-13, 6 Mexican drug cartels, they are fighting, they are battling every single day on the street. The most violent, evil Ruth Street. The most violent, evil Ruth Street. The face of planet Earth. Organizations whose stock and trade is rape and murder. ICE officers are not only heroes, but they are among the bravest Americans among us. Every day they go out onto the street, knowing they face the threat of murder, knowing they face